Executive Director of the Conservative Energy Network, Pennsylvania, Mr. Jim Gregory. Jim, thank you so much for your time this morning, sir.
Absolutely. This is a very familiar call that I get from people often, more often every day, it seems, from people wanting to talk about my experience in putting solar panels on my roof. There's not a week that goes by that somebody doesn't call and ask, how was your experience? And so I look forward to kind of sharing that with everybody and why it's been such a game changer for my wife and I.
All right, Jim, tell me a little bit about that particular project. When did you start it? How long have you been using it, and what's the experience been like?
And most importantly, how did you end up with solar on your roof, Jim?
Well, that's the best part to start with, actually. I'll finish with the rest. But when I joined the Conservative Energy Network, I would never have thought that I would find myself as a solar panel energy producing system on my roof kind of person. But because of who I was working with, speaking of Justin, and the amount of knowledge that he has from an experience standpoint, putting solar panels, thousands and thousands of them in fields, on roofs, on projects, including recently the president of the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau. And so in talking to him, and when you have people come to your house and knock on your door, we're all a little bit skittish about that. And I had that experience. And so he shared with me a little bit about why it was a good idea to do it with him. But that only led me to reach out to Justin and say, Justin, this is what he's offering. And Justin could show me and tell me and with confidence explain why that wasn't a good deal. And this is what a good deal looks like. And so I went out and found a better deal for myself with a company called Groundhog Solar. Free plug there. I don't mean to, but I just have to explain that the confidence that I had with them being local in Altoona really made a big difference, because my wife and I, blessed as we are, were able to afford paying for our energy 6 or 7 years out, because the cost was a barrier. It can be a barrier for so many people, but buying it versus leasing it is what we decided to do. And so having a local representative that we could meet face to face, and then also know that that person is going to service us if we have any problems, it just gave us the confidence to be able to do it. And so we were going through the process of the numbers. We were paying an average of $360 a month, with high months in January and February of almost $600. And since we put it in, our highest bill since last July has been $11. And so that savings is obvious because we invested, but the ripple effects of what happens when we go to sell an all-electric house, that we can tell buyers potentially that they have no electric bill, the whole thing just really has been a positive for us and a great experience.
Justin, you hear stories like that, and you say to yourself, well, what is the resistance? Why would somebody say to themselves, it doesn't sound like something I'm all that interested in, especially in this energy environment in which we find ourselves now?
People do all the time, and I would attribute it to identity politics, but that's a whole lot to unpack right here within the brief amount of time that we have. And aside from just that, it's lack of understanding. Even when Jim came to me with a $360 a month electric bill, and he's like, Justin, what do I do about this? I said, sir, we need to look at solar. Let's avoid a lease, cash payment outright, so you can go ahead and capture your full 25 year of savings.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started there. And then he even exercised energy efficiency, moving from baseboard heating to a mini split with a heat pump. That even drove down his electric bill even more, incurring more savings. Couple that with the rate rise. Jim, your ROI, could you please briefly speak to that for the listeners?
Sure. It started with 7 years. It was going to take 7 years based on the number of panels and what the rates were. But with the mini splits, our savings year over year already has been 40% a month. And then the rate increases has actually lowered our rate return on the investment from 7 years down to just shy of 5 years.
And that may still increase too due to the rate rise, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And you know, there's other solar opportunities out there for people. there's this idea of community solar because there is a cost barrier for so many people, and a lease is just not the way to go. Community solar is a legislative agenda item in Pennsylvania right now. It's something that would allow more people to enjoy it without having to put it on their roofs. You just sign up, you become a member of the community solar plant that's near you in a field, and you get to enjoy the same thing that my wife and I are doing without having to go through the same process that we did. Justin knows so much more about this than I do, but it's something that Pennsylvania seems to be a little bit standoffish towards.
And if I may, half of the homes in Pennsylvania, Todd, they can't put solar on their roof due to lack of ownership, structural integrity, homeowners association, local ordinances. There's a myriad of factors. Shading even is another factor.
Yeah.
These are the factors that are keeping people from putting solar on their home and the outright cost, because you really should avoid the lease. And this is making the case for the need for community solar, which is currently scripted under the Community Energy Bill. That's HB 504, currently sitting in the state legislature, needing to be advanced.
There are plenty of people that say solar energy, it's a fad. It's not going to be a real factor in the energy picture in Pennsylvania. They say the same thing about wind, but particularly about solar. I think because solar seems more accessible to people, and it is an actual option for people right now.
Yeah.
It's not a fad. The footprint actually is growing pretty exponentially, isn't it?
It is. You've got it right here in Indiana County. You've got it all over the state of Pennsylvania. But the prevailing belief is that because we don't get sunny days, so to speak, that solar is not as effective in the state of Pennsylvania. But Jim himself actually bears the fruit of proof that even on reduced sunlight days, Jim, you're still generating, aren't you?
Yes, we are. And when you go the route that we did, the app that we've been given, Enphase, is one of the mechanisms that's attached to your house to read and connect to your electric meter, allows you to follow the production of your electricity through the solar panels every day, all day, to see exactly how much you're relying on the grid, exactly how much you're using, and exactly how much you're producing. And it's a daily tool that I look at because, as we said, in Pennsylvania, we don't get as much sunlight, but it doesn't have to be a perfectly clear day of sunshine to be able to produce energy here in Pennsylvania.
Jim, do technological advances or can technological advances in solar energy influence people to give it a shot?
I think it does, Todd. It's such a good question because solar panels of 10 years ago are obsolete for the most part. The advancements that are taking place in how they absorb, how large they are, how much they produce, and it can help. I would say that even though I want to make sure I made this point also, Todd, to almost answer your question. But we were able to, my wife and I, take advantage of the solar tax credits. So we got 30% back on the purchase of our system. Those have now disappeared. But because rates are going up so fast, people don't care. You would think that people would care that they missed out on what for us was about a $10,000 rebate on our system. But people, I took a call last night from a business owner and a homeowner that wanted to know more about our system because the rates are going up so fast, he doesn't care about missing out on the tax credits. That's how people are viewing the energy crisis that we're facing here in Pennsylvania, which is so hard to believe. I mean, in Pennsylvania, we have an energy crisis. That's really hard to believe.
The state that borne out industrial energy the way that this nation enjoys every day. Yes, it started right here in Pennsylvania, and we are facing an energy crisis now, an energy trilemma. Cost is going up, demand is surging, supply is dwindling.
Mm-hmm. And that demand portion of that whole equation, it's going to continue to surge, isn't it?
It sure is. Electrification. People love to blame data centers. Homer City's not driving your electric bill, folks. It's actually shutting off the generation of energy like we did with Homer City formerly, like we've done with 3 Mile Island, like we've done with other great energy generating facilities throughout the state of Pennsylvania. That's what's really driving the cost.
Yeah. All right. So there's a lot to unbuckle here, Jim.
Yes, there is.
Obviously, you made the decision for your family. Was it a scary decision at first, or was it something you were completely confident in, thanks to guys like Justin?
Well, thank you for finishing that thought with those words. Absolutely. When I can hear what Justin is talking about, I hear his passion for it, and I trust him. It's a relationship business. If somebody's knocking at your door, look at them with one eye raised and the other eye open, both eyes completely open, because those folks are coming in from out of state, and once they get a few projects, they're going to install them, and then you may find that they're gone. And if you have problems with your system, they're going to bring in a third-party technician to repair it, but that group may not be able to fix your system. It's so important to find somebody locally in Pennsylvania. I mentioned who I used. I won't mention them again, but they were it made the difference for us to not feel scared or fearful of making a good decision and taking the plunge as we did.
Justin, less than a minute. People want to know about it. What's the best source of information?
In this area, reach out to Groundhog Solar.
Okay.
Groundhog Solar, the gentleman over there, Jim, what was his name again?
Richard, yes.
Richard?
And there's a big Groundhog Solar billboard just a couple of miles outside of Indiana, actually, on 219.
If you're looking for information, always go with the local source. If somebody's knocked your door and delivered you a proposal, take that proposal to the local source. Consider an outright purchase over a lease.
There you go. All right, Justin,
Good
Jim,
stuff.
Thanks to both of you for coming on to
Thank
visit
you,
with
sir.
us today. We appreciate it. It is
Thank you,
the
Doc.
voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. Fox News next, then Josh with a brief look at news, and it's the Brian Kilmeade Show.
Attention veterans, this is your call to action. The James E. Van Zant VA Medical Center is bringing the benefits to you with a VA enrollment fair. Saturday, June 13th from 9 to noon at the Indiana VA Outpatient Clinic. Sit down with experts, get your questions answered, and connect with the benefits you've earned. Just bring your DD-214, insurance info, and financial documents. 101 IRMC Drive in Indiana, June 13th, 9 to noon. Don't wait. Show up, sign up, and get the care you deserve.
As America prepares to celebrate its 250th birthday, we pause this Memorial Day to honor the brave men and women who sacrifice so much to protect the freedoms we cherish every day. Their courage, service, and love of country helped shape the nation we proudly call home. This Memorial Day, may we remember their legacy and never take our freedom for granted. Happy Memorial Day from the Rischini Group of Indiana. The Rischini Group. They consider all the angles.
America's vehicle drives America's pastime. This is the voice of the Bucks, Greg Brown, and that vehicle is Ford. Clemente, Maz, Stargell, and many Pirates are legends of the game, and Ford is celebrating legends of the road, like the F-Series trucks, the official truck of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and America's bestseller for 49 years. It's a great time to drive home a legend. From Luther Ford as we get ready for America 250. Luther Ford, Route 119, Homer City, or shop 24/7 at lutherford.com.